Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have the blank, and this looks a pretty good rack. I have showier. But is there a better bingo? And a better bingo would be one which duplicates one of the tiles currently on my rack to minimise the number of floaters available for my opponent. And the alternative to that is to find a bingo with the blank as a less bingo-y tile than the R. So I'm going to quickly squiz through the alphabet and see if anything leaps into my mind. I have howdies. That's possibly better than showier. Not seen anything else yet. There may be something there. Again, there may be something there, close to wine shop. That's showier. Now that would be good because it is a duplicate, but I don't think showies is good. Okay, so the two I've seen are howdies and showier. And I think I will go with howdies. For 82. Not great, only one vowel. I do, however, have scoring tiles, and there are vowels on the board, so I should be able to sort this rack out. I have combi in column 5 through the O of howdies, leaving NRT, that's pretty good. I'm also looking at the E of howdies where my M can go either side of it and my B can go above it. I'd like to leave 3 consonants rather than 4 if possible. So combi achieves that, but a play of mib or Mike doesn't. I could play mint, but I'd like to play off 2 of my 3 high-scoring tiles to maximise my chances of bingoing next go. Now my C has synergy with the H of howdy, so I could play bitch in column 4. Mitch also good. Bitch is quite nice, keeping MNR. Okay, both of those have been blocked, but my opponent has provided a new spot. All of my high-scoring tiles can go above OW. So, is that the best spot? I can't see a 5-letter play, which stretches to this triple-letter square. I can't see a double-double in column 5. So what I can do is play Brim, keeping CNT. That's a fairly bingo-y set of tiles. 28 points. Brim does take an S. I don't think it takes any other floaters. It may take an E, but I don't think so. Now, I haven't drawn well, but this should be a fairly easy rack to resolve. A play of YOU would leave a decent rack leave. I need to play off the Y. Well, I need to play off those 3 tiles at least. So, where can I do that? Well, I can play it in column 12 because Arco is good. I can't play parallel to Arc because C doesn't take anything before or after it. Now I have County on my rack, and I could play that in column 12 or in row D. And I think that's better than playing YOU because the rack leave of Cont, although it's quite good, there's no E or S there. So it's not noticeably better than a rack leave of just O. Well, let me see what the score differential is, because Cont is better than O. Now, County 32, YOU in column 12, 18. So Cont is not 14 points better than O. Just pausing in case there's a bingo here. I've got the floating S and D of Howdies to consider. Can't see anything. Now, is this the best spot for County? I could also play in column 12 for 30 points, so I think where I am now is a better spot. That looks pretty good. Fairly close to a bingo. I don't think good as is good. So, I don't think there's a 7 here. What about an 8? Anything beginning with D or S? Well, not that I can see. And it's a shame that good as isn't good, or an anagram of it, because column 12 is available with the Arco hook. But nothing is coming to mind. Now, 2 new floaters, unfortunately duplicates of tiles on my rack, but there could be something here. Can't see anything with the G. Or the R. I would have good sire through an I. So I have considered all of the floaters on the board. So how to resolve this? I could play Goo and Arco. That would leave Reds as a rack lead, which is pretty good. Only 18 points. Can I do better than that? Well, what about playing it here for 16 points? I think this may be a better, well, only 14 points. I think I'm going to go with the higher scoring spot. Each of these placements has its merits. Now, I'm wondering about adding an R to make Gur. I know Gur is good. I think Bauer is good. I may be confusing it with BAWR, and they may both be good. Well, I say, however, it's not really a toss-up because the R adds an extra 10 points to the score. So is Bauer good? I'm not totally sure. Okay, so if Bauer is good, then this play is not as good as Gua. But it's not a disastrous error. Pretty promising. But is there a bingo? I've got a good lead. I'm 100 points up. I've got guard in the top row with DES. So I can't see anything there. I can't see anything through the R. Nice bingo by my opponent. He's also provided a couple of new floaters. I would have radius through an I think. Well, I can't see a bingo here. I'm just looking at the floaters in Howdies. So, what to do? Well, playing off the U and the D. Definitely. But where can I do that and score well? could play dud and good. 13 points. That's not bad. I could play Doug and Ut up here for fewer points, 7 fewer points, but ADERS is a good 5-letter set. So is there a better spot? I'm not really blocking a bingo lane because I'm not killing either ing or age ending words. And the D is quite useful for going on the end of goo. So I will play here. That looks close. That looks close. My opponent is now just 15 points behind. Is there something here? Nothing has come to mind. Oh, this looks a nice rack. The Y is problematic, and will probably explain the lack of a bingo. I've got R-E-Y-E as a component part of a word. Close to dare say. Resaid I don't think is good. I think it's resaid and resay. Dearies isn't spelt E-Y-S. Okay, so I need to play something off here. I certainly need to play off the Y. And I could play off just the Y or the Y and an E. And I'm thinking about playing here, 19 points, but I'm killing off a few floaters. The alternative would be to play above EN for 5 fewer points. Well, I think I'd rather have the 5 points because there are good bingo lanes elsewhere on the board, in particular row J, plus all 4 floaters in Howdies. Is there somewhere else for YE? No, I think that's, well, I could play Ye and L, but that is just providing too much of an easy scoring spot for my opponent, so I'm going to play here. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. There's nowhere on this board for a Q. I was gearing up to bingo. And my opponent's provided nothing. This is a tricky spot. I'm only 20 points ahead. I think I'm going to change here unless I can see somewhere for the Q, because if I jettison the Q and the A, I've got a good 5-letter set. And there's just nowhere for the Q. So I'm going to change. So I got rid of the Q and the A. Duplicate 2 of the tiles on my rack. Always a risk when you're keeping bingo-y tiles. I can't see a 7 with this rack. So anything beginning with D, I. Wow, another bingo for my opponent. He's now 46 points ahead. I've got nice tiles, but I can't see a bingo. I'm wondering about terraced, but I don't think that's good. I think it's just terrace and terraces. Still 1 blank to come. Only 8 minutes on my clock, 34 tiles to come. My opponent has killed all of the bingo lanes I was looking at. I've only got 1 E. And the problem with this rack is that I only want to play off a couple of tiles. But I'm not going to score very much if I do that. So what about playing Sard across here? 29 points, a good score. RES, quite a good 3-letter rack leave. And I'm opening up a bingo lane, which I'd like to do because I'm behind. Awful. Hard to believe I was so close for a bingo for several racks, because this is a million miles away from a bingo. Except through an A, I would have far lerts. But I'd be pretty... Well, there's 5 A's to come. Maybe my opponent will gift a floating A. However, he's more likely to be drawn to column 15, which he has been. And he's 40 points in front. He's created a new bingo lane, which is good. But what am I going to do with this? Now, my S can go on the end of goon, and I mentioned that just as a way of scoring. But I do want to jettison the Z. I've got Fez on my rack. Oh, well, this is quite nice. If I play Fez across here, I'm creating a bingo lane in row L, and I'm leaving open the bingo lane in column 14. 39 points is a good score, but I'm providing an incredibly easy spot for my opponent to score with an A or an O underneath the Z. Can I do better? And can I play off 4 tiles? I don't really like keeping 4 consonants. Thelf is good, but not Thelfs. What about playing fresh? And the reason for this, 39 points brings me level with my opponent, and I've got the Z for score next go. I don't really want to get so far behind my opponent that I have to have a bingo to win, and by playing fresh, I'm catching him up and keeping a good scoring tile, so I'm going to go with this. And I'm not providing anything super easy for my opponent, although I note there are 5 A's out there and a fresh is good. Let's see if he spots that. Rats, I was hoping to draw an A. I haven't, and I haven't got a good rack, but I do have some vowels. The L doesn't go great with the Z, although Zil is good. I can't see anywhere obvious for that. Just looking in row F, I've got ZE, but... Okay, my opponent hasn't used that A hook. Maybe he won't spot it. I can't see anywhere for Zil. I can't see anywhere for Whiz. Or anywhere good, rather. I could play it down here for very little. Now, what I can do is wheeze for an awful rackly, but a good score. And look, my opponent only got 12 points for Riff. Wheeze scores 45 points. Rackleave horrendous, especially with 1 L to come. But at the moment, my opponent's only 17 points behind, so this is going to put me 20 or 30 in the lead. Not too many high-scoring tiles to come. So Wheeze isn't massively dangerous. 5 minutes on my clock. I was just wondering if I could play Wheeze down here, but annoyingly IE isn't good, so that doesn't quite work. Now what Wheeze does do is draw my opponent's attention to row O, which leaves open the fresh hook, which he may not have spotted. Just wondering if I've got anything across here with the Z on this spot, but if I did, my opponent would have a 4-letter Z play for a good score, so I don't think that's worth bothering with. 18 tiles to come, 4 minutes on my clock. Wheeze feels slightly dangerous, especially with the A's. My opponent can put an A underneath the Z and score well. But maybe, even if he does that, maybe he'll just be catching me up rather than going into the lead. A rackleave here is awful. So, what about... That's 45 points. What about playing Zell for 31? And this is a much better rack leave. I'm keeping scoring potential for next go. And I'm providing much less of a scoring opportunity for my opponent. I think I'm going to go with this. 31 points is going to take me to 283, which is a lead of 13 or 14 points. I draw an A for a fresh. The rack generally isn't great. Rife takes an... Oh, wow. Great play by my opponent. 86 points. He powers into the lead. Only 8 tiles left. Quite a few bingo lanes, and I probably do need to bingo. So how can I jettison my non-bingo-y tiles? And those are the W and the V and the I. And I'd like to do so in a way which doesn't take out bingo lanes. That may not be possible. 3 E's to come. I've got wave and wive on my rack. 3 minutes on my clock. So, where can I play the W and the V? I could change. There are 8 tiles left. I don't particularly want to, because it wouldn't be a case of just playing off 1 or 2 tiles. Only 2 minutes on my clock. So, do I play wive down here? Let me see what this looks like. 17 points. I'm opening up a new bingo lane, although I am killing one. I'm keeping... Wow, what an awful rack leave. Vowel heavy. With 3 A's to come. Surely I can do better than that. So, what about playing whale across here? 31 points. Awful. Keeping duplicate I. I could play alive across here. 1 minute on my clock. So what if I played off just W and I? Where can I do that? 1 minute on my clock. Can't even see. Well, I could play win. Killing a bingo lane, that's rubbish. Gosh, this isn't going well. 50 seconds left. Alive, 23. Well, I have Wilger and a fresh, which is actually pretty good, since my opponent could well have the Q and the U. Alive hasn't... Well, I don't think there's time to really discuss its merits right now. I have 30 seconds on my clock. I've got Wilger and I've got Wiltshire. No tiles left. 30 seconds on my clock. So, I'm going to go for Wilger for 57, keeping TI. I think I can score more with TI. Let me play this. TI, then I could with just the I. So where can I've got 15 seconds left. Where can I maximise the score with TI? I haven't seen it. I've got Rit for 6, Sit for 5. Can't use QI. TI for 8 and Et. It up here, 7. Tip, 7. Active, not good. 14 minutes on my opponent's clock. That's why I've got into time trouble. He's been playing very fast. RI, not good. Otherwise, I could have tie. So where was my highest scoring play? I've forgotten. 7 for it and tie. I've forgotten. I've only got 15 seconds left, and I've forgotten where my 8-point play was. It was tie and det. Tie and det for 8. Tie and det for 8. Don't forget. That's still available. This is better. For 11. My opponent ends the game. It's not enough. Final score, 378 to me, 411 to my opponent. A winning margin of 33 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Now, I understand from a message I can do this. Examine history dweeb 0. Let's see if this works. And it does. Back to the beginning of the game. This was my opening rack. It looked pretty promising. I saw Howdies and Showier. Those were the only bingos. My opponent's rack. No bingo there. He plays logo. I have this rack and I go with Brim, which looks fine. My opponent plays Arc. And I play County. County also available in the same spot. Well, County scores more points. 12C. Okay, making Arco and getting the Y doubled. But keeping the U, I think it's better to jettison the U, even if it's costing 4 points. My opponent plays Grat. This is my rack. I didn't miss a bingo here. And I was considering Gua. Wasn't totally sure of Bauer. It is good. So I play Goo. My opponent has Stinted and Tridents. Now this is my rack, and I don't have a bingo. And this is where I had a run of racks, including the previous one, which looked extremely close to a bingo, but I couldn't see one. There was none on these two racks. And look at the scores. Look how low they are. What did I do? I played Doug for even lower, but I kept a 5-letter set, and a 5-letter set certainly can make up 13 points on a single letter rack leave. Not a nice rack for my opponent. He gets rid of the V and the X and scores well. I thought for a moment Goodyear was a bingo. It wasn't. So again, a bingo-y rack with no bingo. I played Yi for 19. And again, although it's fewer points than these other plays, the rack leave is better. So I'm still happy with Yi. My opponent doesn't have a bingo. He plays Awful rack for me. Now, what's the score? I'm ahead at this point. So D12, Eard. Well, Eard for 29. The Q's generally worth minus sort of 13. So there is an argument for playing Eard. However, although the numbers look like it's better than changing, the advantage of changing is a really good 5-letter rack leave, and I think that would overcome Eard in a simulation. Anyway, I change. My opponent has Natia. And then I have another bingo-y rack. And again, no bingo. And Sard, that was my play for 29. I still like it. My opponent plays D-Bone, and at this point I'm 40 points behind. And this isn't a great rack. I play Fresh, but interesting. And Fresh has the A front hook. I could have played Flesh in the same spot, which doesn't have the A front hook. And Fez was the other play I considered, but I didn't like keeping 4 vowels. Each of these plays has merit. Although Fresh has the A hook, there is some advantage in that I am behind. And although Fresh draws me level, my opponent's on turn, so effectively I'm still behind. So there is an advantage in adding some volatility. However, the R is a better tile to keep on my rack. My opponent plays Riff, and at this point I'm only 17 points behind. and the game's quite close, and I was on the point of playing Wheeze, and I switched to Zell. Les also available in the same spot, and that's great for my opponent. He has a ton of bingos, including a point, and now I'm in difficulty. Only 8 tiles left. I don't have a bingo-y rack leave. It's hard to see how I can leave myself with a decent rack leave. And I play Alive for 23, and look at these rack leaves. All of them pretty much from hell. So Alive, not as bad as I thought it initially was, although one downside of it is that it's rapidly emptying the bag. Now, quite a nice rack for my opponent with the Q and the U. He's got Aqua at H1 using the fresh hook. He doesn't spot that. He plays Aqua, and I'm now 84 points behind. And I catch up some of that with Wilger, but not enough because I'm still 20 points behind in my opponent on turn. He plays Eked, and finally L10. For it, iCat and Tell would have scored one more than tie. So that was the end of the game. So pretty exciting. Well done again to my opponent for a good win. Quite a tight result at the end, but 3 good bingos for my opponent was enough to win it for him. Quite a few interesting racks to consider there, especially the ones which looked so close to bingos but weren't, with the real difficulty there of having to accept low scores with no guarantee of a bingo the following turn. And the other interesting spot, I guess, was the whether to play Eard or to change. So plenty to think about there. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.